I know it's been a while since we've been together. I know it's been a while since we've had an opportunity to gather amongst others, maskless, and every table in the room full. So maybe we're out of practice when it comes to good evening. Good evening. I'm gonna try this one more time. Now, normally, I wake up at midnight, so right now I'd be dog tired. But you know what I did? I took the morning off. I didn't wake up till 7 o'clock. So I've got a lot of energy for you guys tonight. So once again, good evening. Good evening. That's what I love to hear. I want to welcome you all to the 104th annual dinner meeting of the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis. 104 years. That alone deserves a round of applause. When you stop and you think about the trials and the tribulations that have occurred over the last 104 years, you'll understand just how great the Urban League has been. To be able to stand strong, to be able to stand tall. Because over those 104 years, we've been beaten down, we've been beaten up, we've been denied, but we have kept rising. We have kept moving forward. And along that way, along that path, the Urban League has always been there in our times of need. It was 100 years ago in the early 1900s that we faced a pandemic. Who knows where people could turn to that time for help? But the people here in our area had one great friend that they can turn to, the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis. Without the Urban League of the Metropolitan St. Louis, do you realize that thousands of families would not have known where their next meal was coming from? That thousands of families would not have had PPE? That thousands of families would have had to go without and make some really hard decisions, but they didn't have to do that. Do you realize that because of the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis, that thousands were able to get vaccinated in an area where there were no vaccinations available to them? Because of the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis, we now understand why there is a need for equity in the St. Louis region. I want to say personally thank you to everybody with the Urban League for what they've been able to do and what we have been able to achieve. And I don't know who did this, but I'm going to find them. This podium is really high for a guy my height. Down there is actually a teleprompter that I cannot see. But I'm going to do my best. My name is Randy Knott, and for those of you who don't wake up early in the morning, I am the co-anchor of Today in St. Louis on KCK 5 on your side. A shout out to the Channel 5 table to my left. Those are my peeps. Thank you so much for being here. I am honored once again to serve as your MC, to help host this evening dinner and to report to the community. It has been so great to see all of you just together once again, maskless and enjoying one another's company. Finally, dressed without a pair of sweats on. No Zoom meeting this time. We're face to face, face to face. And isn't it a blessing for us to be here today? Isn't it a blessing to be here today? The good Lord has shined upon us to be able to get through this pandemic to this point. Now, I had an opportunity to mingle with quite a few of you at the VIP reception. Took some selfies, and thank you for that. Hopefully I was looking decent. My eyes weren't closed or anything like that. It was a wonderful reception featuring Denise Times, magnificent singer. Our pre-event reception also featured Nikisha Joseph. They were simply fantastic. Go ahead and applaud. It's been a long time since people have heard applause in person. KCK has been a long supporter of the Urban League, and I'm especially proud to be here tonight to celebrate with the National Urban League President, Mr. Mark Morial. Our honorees tonight, Jim and Elizabeth Burgess, the Urban League Board of Directors, and my main man, Mr. Michael P. McMillan, who has done a tremendous job in leading the Urban League through some very, very tough times. And of course, I am honored once again to stand before all of you as your MC tonight. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for understanding the cause. You go ahead and applaud yourselves. Pretty much anytime I pause, that means In a few minutes, Bishop Michael Jones will provide us with our invocation, and we will then have dinner. Now, I want you to know right away, I definitely do not want to stand between the crowd and a very delicious meal. But until we have the invocation, do not pick up that fork. Now, before we give our thanks for us being back together and for our health and for these good times, I want to take a moment to listen to some of the folks who have been blessed from the work and those who are out there blessing others by doing the work. Let us watch.
My name is Barbara Bowman. My title is Vice President, Controller, and Director of Facilities. I have worked for the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis for 20 years. My current role includes day-to-day fiscal operations, supervising our general accounting team, and working with our CFO and our team of accountants. I think it's important that individuals understand when you are working at an organization like the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis, you are here because you choose to be here. You have a passion and a commitment to this type of work. And I think it's important that everyone understands that those of us who are here, we're here because of a commitment and a commitment to making a difference in the community. It's so much more than just a job.
My name is Trina S. Williams. I am a former school teacher of 20 years and currently I am a successful entrepreneur. I feel that the Urban League of St. Louis has made a difference in my life. When COVID took place, I took that time to enroll in the Women's Business Center Ready, Set, Launch class. And going through that program helped me to really think outside the box. What could I do differently so that I could succeed? And because of this program, I was able to do more with my business, that not only can I do the basic things that I was already doing, but it's helped me to see that now I can apply for a business loan, I can look for a location. I believe that the Urban League is making a difference in our community with their outreach programs such as the Urban League Women Business Center, the food pantry, Saving Our Sons, and the Housing and Rental Assistance Program. I would recommend the Urban League Women Business Center Ready, Set, Launch program to women who are starting, or maybe even if they are already in the process of doing their business. Just so thankful to actually be a successful entrepreneur who is actually running a business and is successful.
My name is William Smith. I am a workforce development specialist, and my background is in psychology and counseling. I think it kind of fits hand in hand because I'm able to give some holistic services while helping individuals find employment, helping them get into school, things of that nature. Of course, I feel like my work makes a difference. There are some days where you feel like you're maybe not making as much of an impact. If just one person comes through those doors and I'm able to help one person, I do feel that my work is not going in vain. I just contribute by doing my part every single day, from 8 until 5, making sure that, I'm helping empower, I'm helping change lives, I'm helping someone. So it doesn't matter if the person is 17 years old or 75. However I can help further that mission, further that goal, then that's how I make sure that I'm furthering the goal.
That's just the tip of the iceberg of what the Urban League has been doing in our community. Wonderful blessings for a lot of folks out there, opportunities and hope that they may not have had without the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis. It is a great way for us to start our evening tonight. But I also need you to help the Urban League to sustain what it is doing in our community, for it to continue to have its amazing work felt by so many people out there who are in need of hope. On your tables, you will find envelopes. If you have an opportunity tonight, I want you to take that envelope and I want you to stuff it with something. Maybe it's a lot, maybe it's a little, but you know what? Everything counts. Everything counts. So we do need your help tonight. So if you can, please give. Please give. It's been said that it takes a village to raise a child. Well, in the case that we just found out from this pandemic, it takes a village to sustain a community. So together we are stronger, and together we can make a difference. Let that begin with each and every one of you, if you can, to make a generous donation to the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis. You can also enjoy the images of the Urban League's work throughout the year 2021 and messages from our sponsors that will be looping on the monitors during your dinner. You might even recognize someone that you know. It is now my pleasure to welcome for our invocation a man who may know a little something about blessings. Please give a grand Urban League welcome to Bishop Michael Fulton Jones Sr., Senior Pastor of Friendly Temple Missionary Baptist Church.
Let us pray together. Our great God of glory, a great God of heaven and God of earth, we thank you for the privilege, even the pleasure of coming together to not only fellowship, but celebrate an organization that has great legacy and lineage and great love for our people. We thank you for the Urban League. Thank you for their service. We thank you for the sacrifice. We thank you for them surrendering to submit to so many who are in need. Thank you for the leadership of Urban League nationally and regionally. Thank you for the blessings even of the people who have assembled here, who serve and give so much of themselves. Bless our time here together, God, we pray. We ask as well that you will bless the food that we are about to receive and bless the food that we've already received. In Jesus' name, amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we would like to begin our program. If you could please find your seats, we greatly appreciate it. We will begin the second half of tonight's program, the most powerful half of tonight's program, because we get to hear from the legend himself, Michael P. McMillan. How was dinner tonight? Well, can we hear it for the staff here at the Marriott, please? Doing such a great job. And did you have an opportunity to watch all the images up on the screens here throughout dinner? Did you recognize some of the faces and some of the people who are probably sitting amongst you this evening? These are the people behind the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis. These are the volunteers, people who give of their time freely to make a difference. People who answer the call and say, I need to be there, I need to be a part of this. My community needs me. And boy, when you think about it, since March of 2020 to today, our community has needed us like never ever before when you think about it. In modern times, we have not faced something like this, but because of the volunteers and because of the collective efforts, we're able to handle these things. And one of the guys that's kind of been at the forefront of all of this when it comes to the Urban League as well, Michael P. McMillan. And I've got a great script here about Michael P. McMillan. And by the way, has anybody ever just called him Mike? MM? No, it's always Michael P. McMillan. But you do that out of respect. You do that because you've seen the man in action and you know that he is indeed a man of action. One of the greatest things about Michael P. McMillan is that he sees the danger. He doesn't go that way. He goes to the danger. He then asks when he gets to the danger, what can I do to make this a better place? Think about it for just a moment when we beckon back to those lines that we saw at the old mall. Thousands and thousands of people, our neighbors, our friends, folks who had to swallow their pride and say, I need help. And they found it. Not just that one time, but time and time and time again. And that cost thousands and thousands of dollars. I don't know if it reached the $1 million level, but I'm sure that it got very close, if not eclipsed it. That is because of the great sponsors that we have, but also because of the man behind the push, Michael P. McMillan. In 2020, the P in Michael P. McMillan stood for person, because in 2020, he was named the Person of the Year by the St. Louis American newspaper. During his profile interview, he was asked what his vision was for the league, and without hesitation, he said his number one goal was to work with his board, with the staff, with the volunteers, and with the donors to make our Urban League the most impactful, most significant, and empowering organization meeting the needs of African Americans and bringing races together that they've never been before. And ladies and gentlemen, I would say that he has certainly accomplished that. He has certainly accomplished that. And now, without further ado, I want you to hang on to your seats, because when this man speaks, he moves the earth. He will make you want to get up and shout. He will make you want to get up and make a difference. Is that anything else you wanted me to say? Was that enough? I mean, because you added some notes, and I just want to make sure I said it all. No, that was all me. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the CEO and president of the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis, Mr. Michael P. McMillan.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you, sir. Good evening. First and foremost, let me thank Rennie Knott, who is a dear friend of the Urban League, who is a talent in his own right on Channel 5, and who is a great St. Louisan. Thank you, Rennie, for everything you do for the Urban League movement. You are always there for us. I want to welcome each and every one of you on behalf of the board, the staff, the volunteers in this community, and thank you for making sure that our 104th dinner was a sellout and a record in terms of the funds that have been raised for this agency. So thank you to each and every one of you for being here tonight and doing what you do for the Urban League movement. I want to thank our development department that made that happen. Tom Bailey, Robert Vogel, Monica Patton, Charlotte Otley, and everyone that helped to make sure that this was the success that it is tonight. I want to acknowledge our board of directors. I want to ask our chairman, Mark Levison, and all of the members of the board of the Urban League to please stand so that they can be acknowledged and thanked for their tremendous commitment to the mission of this agency. In the video earlier tonight, you saw what Barbara Bowman said when she talked about our staff working, and it's more than just a job. They have all taken their passion and their purpose on earth and turned it into their profession here at the Urban League. So I would like to acknowledge all of them and ask the staff that are present in the room to please stand. They are hardworking, competent, qualified, capable, committed people to the mission and the vision of this agency. Led by our management team, but we on the staff couldn't do it alone. So I must acknowledge all of our volunteers and partners that work with us each and every day to serve last year the largest number of people that we have ever served in 104 years at almost 200,000 individuals throughout this entire region because of the work of the collaboration of the staff and the rest. I want to thank our dinner sponsors. This event would not be possible without them. Worldwide Technology, Centene, Anheuser-Busch, and Ameren as our title sponsors. Please give a big round of applause for them. Those of you who have been to Urban League events know that we could not do what we do in this community without the support, the collaboration, cooperation, and partnership that we have with the city, state, and federal governments. And so I would like for all of the elected officials that are here and present tonight to please stand and be acknowledged, and all of the former elected officials that are here with us, because they help us to get the resources out into the community to make a difference and help humanity. Please give them a big round of applause as they stand throughout the evening. And any one of us who is in a life of public service know that you have to have a very strong support base. Mine is my family, And I would like for all of the members of my family to please stand, led by my mother, Rita McMillan, because they are there for me each and every day, helping to make sure that I have the resources personally and professionally to succeed. And tonight, we have 3 honorees who set the bar for excellence, who set the bar for giving back, who set the bar for leading, not just in easy times, but in difficult times. Our National Urban League President and CEO, Mark H. Morial, is here with us. Mark, would you please stand? It is an honor to have you with us tonight. Jim and Elizabeth Burgess represent the best of St. Louis. When you talk about a couple that is committed to making sure the least of these in our community have the resources that are necessary from them and from everyone in their network, please stand as well. We congratulate all 3 of our honorees tonight, and we thank them for their service. These past 2 years have changed us in every way, from the devastating impact of the pandemic to the tremendous resolve and compassionate response of our community in fighting it. We have seen the best of humanity in the worst of times. Tonight is our opportunity to share with you our work and impact in 2021. As we reflect over the past year, you will see a recurring theme of partnership and collaboration. Together, we accomplished a great deal. At your tables is a copy of our 2021 annual report describing our 55 programs and services and detailing some of the major accomplishments this past year. We would not have been able to have the tremendous impact we had without the unwavering support of so many. So tonight, we are celebrating our collective resolve and the partnerships, both old and new, that allowed the Urban League to stand and deliver when people needed us the most. From vaccinations and COVID-19 testing to jobs, education, and housing, we collaborated with numerous partners and delivered quality programs and services for our community and our clients. As the pandemic continued to rage, James Clark and the Division of Public Safety and Community Response partnered with the Missouri National Guard, Affinia, People's Health Center, AIM, and Visionary Vaccines to vaccinate more than 100,000 people, from seniors to school children, all throughout St. Louis, our most vulnerable residents. When James got the call from the governor, and he said, James, can you actually help us with these vaccines? We know there's a lot of hesitancy. We know there's a lot of issue in the Black community. Can you help? James was in his own house recovering from COVID. And he called me and he said, Mike, can we get to the senior buildings first? I said, James, you are in luck, because Mike McMillan has been to every senior citizen building in the whole city of St. Louis. So if there's anything that we can do, is we can get out into the senior buildings and meet them where they are. And we did that. And it was such a tremendous success that we then continued that to go and work with the school children, work with any number of entities to make sure that they had everything that they need when they needed it the most. And with the help and support of our dear brother, Cliff Franklin, who I want to stand, we received 10 million masks that we then distributed throughout this entire community to make sure that our community was safe. He, along with Kappa Alpha Psi, made sure that we had those resources and we got them out into the community. The team distributed masks at bus stops and barbershops, at churches, grocery stores, and schools, all in the neighborhoods with the zip codes that had the most people impacted. On a recent evening in the Walnut Park neighborhood, Mr. Warren Walker was preparing dinner for his family when gunshots rang out. Warren raced to the porch expecting to find his son shot. His son was unharmed but found himself targeted by men in the neighborhood. Mr. Walker immediately called James Clark and the gun violence de-escalation unit. They arrived within 30 minutes and were informed about the situation involving a young man who lives one street over. Mr. Clark visited the young man's father, then the young man and his friends. The situation was de-escalated and a life was saved. That is the type of work that the Division of Public Safety did on top of everything that they did during the pandemic. Mr. Walker's son, the young man, and his friends are all gainfully employed based on their work in Save Our Sons and the Urban League, and are now contributing members of society. I want Mr. Walker to please stand. It's my understanding that he is at table 70. Please give him a big round of applause and thanks. Because what we realized is the Urban League is known for social services, human services, jobs, economic opportunity, but we need more than that. As we look into this next century of service, we realized in addition to those things in advocacy that the Urban League is known for, that we also had to do something about crime. And as opposed to running away from the neighborhoods with the highest crime, we are running into those neighborhoods to meet the people where they are and see what they need and how we can help them so that they would receive the types of blessings that all of us have received. And so James and his team do that every single day. Last year, they de-escalated 78 instances that could have led to deaths. And they have been out in the community doing this for many, many years, helping St. Louis be a better version of itself. We also realize that we need to do more in the form of housing and more in the form of economic development, which is why you see some of the other projects that we are embarking upon throughout the entire region, in the city and in North County, and hopefully one day in East St. Louis and St. Clair County, because we must do more to make St. Louis the city and region that it can be. Housing has always been a priority of the Urban League movement. And in 2021, we partnered with the city and the county to disperse over $2.5 million to make sure that 1,000 families were not homeless based on what happened during the pandemic. And we prevented thousands of evictions. Our staff worked tirelessly to process 11,537 applications. Luckily, I did not have to be a part of that. For utility assistance with funding from a variety of partners, including the city, the county, Heat Up and Cool Down St. Louis. Our newly opened Panera Food Pantry served more than 13,000 people seeking nutritious food to supplement their meals and reduce grocery costs, on top of the 40 large-scale PPE, food, and toiletry distributions that we did throughout the region. So we appreciate Panera, Schnucks, and all of the partners that donated and continue to do so that we can make those individuals in our community that need food be able to have the resources that they need. As the economy began to recover, many of the area's top employers chose the Save Our Sons program as their partner of choice for hiring and training. And as a result, we placed almost 500 men in jobs through Save Our Sons, even in the pandemic, when so many people had given up hope on how to take care of themselves and their families. When the 5-year anniversary of Ferguson happened, we looked at all of the vacant lots where businesses had been burned to the ground, and sadly, at that 5-year point, no new building was open except our Ferguson Center. Soon after that, a couple of buildings were done, but at that 5-year period, there was nothing else. And so I remembered the words of the late, great John Mack, who was the president of the LA Urban League when Rodney King happened. And I called him every week when Ferguson happened. And he said, Mike, do not let St. Louis be like Watts was after the riots we had in LA and after what happened in Rodney King. Do everything that you can to take those vacant, abandoned, derelict lots and rebuild your community, whether you do it or whether you are a catalyst for it. So we bought 3 more lots with the help of Emerson and Centene to implement the wishes of the community through the county's plan that was created by the residents. Many of us remember the auto zone on West Florissant as it was. And so when you looked at that auto zone And now you see what it was in terms of when it was burning down and the chaos that ensued in 2014. And how, as we looked at that, it appeared as though we were watching something like Eyes on the Prize as a civil rights documentary, but it was happening in real time in our city. Your urban league then worked with a coalition of Michael Gardner, Gardner Capital, Michael Kennedy, KAI, County Executive Dr. Page, MHDC, NDC, Delwood and Mayor Reggie Jones, Great Southern Bank, and many others to build a $10 million senior center and apartment complex that is going to take place right there on West Florissant that is under construction as we speak. And for the first time in 48 years, we moved to the Urban League headquarters, and now we are in what is the old Sears building. For everybody under 40, Sears was a department store. And this young lady looked at me like, I really don't have a clue what you're talking about. Sears was Amazon indoors. You could go there and get everything. And that particular building is so incredibly important to the fabric of the Black community because it was the only department store in North St. Louis. So many of us worked there. So many of us went there to get school uniforms and appliances and so many other things. So it's an anchor and a beacon of hope. It is the only single standing department store left in the entire city at 205,000 square feet. The Victor Roberts building that is now the regional headquarters of the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis. We have raised approximately $16 million of what will be a $30 million campaign to create the crown jewel of the entire Black community. That if any one of you is having a conference and they come to St. Louis and they say, St. Louis has been through a lot. You've had Ferguson, you've had Stockley, George Floyd, and all these protests have happened, and we've read that it's a very segregated place. And that we've read that they want to be better. Tell us and show us some things in St. Louis that can prove to us that St. Louis wants to be better. This complex will be just that, because it will be the crown jewel of all of North St. Louis, and it will be a center of African-American excellence that everyone can be proud of. So that when you bring people to town and they say, show us something positive in North St. Louis, that you will have a destination to go to, and it will be called the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis. Earlier today, we made a historic announcement as a result of our partnership with Commerce Bank. And I would like for all of the members of the Commerce Bank staff that are with us to please stand, led by Molly Highland. I thank them for this partnership. So today, at this press conference, John Kemper announced that the Commerce Bank at Natural Bridge and Newstead has been donated to the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis, along with a sizable contribution from the Kemper Family Foundation and also a contribution from Commerce Bank. And we have raised another $300,000 to match that. And we are looking to raise another $500,000 to finish off the building itself. And while we do this, we will also be having, which was announced by our national president and CEO, Mark Morial, the National Urban League is opening its 13th Entrepreneurship Center here in St. Louis as a result of our work together. It will also house the Federation of Block Units and a variety of other programs. But this is what the Urban League is about. We cannot tell the people in our programs that we want them to go from renting to owning if we are renting everything. The Urban League needs to own the property that it is in so that it can practice what it preaches to the community. We're able to do that based on the contribution and the generosity of Commerce Bank today, and we thank you for that partnership and that work together to ensure that our Women's Business Center, our Entrepreneurship Center, our Federation of Block Units, and other programs will have a home on Natural Bridge so that we can continue to make sure that St. Louis is as equitable as it can be. So now, as we get ready to look at the video tonight, I wanted to acknowledge one other person who is here with us. As you know, the Urban League is, in many, many ways, a bridge. Those of you who may not know our history, we were created as a bridge between blacks and whites, young and old, rich and poor, and people of all races that want to see America be the perfect melting pot that it should be. And so as you came in tonight, you saw the poster boards of the leadership of this gala. And I would be remiss if I did not thank, I did not acknowledge, and I did not say how much Michael Neidorff meant to us. We thank him and his family and Centene for what they have done with us on so many occasions. During my 9 years as president, Centene worked with us on so many different projects. Every major project that we had, Centene was there. When we were finishing the capital campaign for the Ferguson building, Michael said, well, how much do you need? I said, we need $650,000. He said, done. Finish the campaign, build the building so we can open it the day that we host the National Urban League Conference. And when we hosted the national conference, he said, I'm going to co-chair it, but I'm going to do so with David Stewart to show black and white unity in this community. He said, I will put up the first $1 million. When we had our centennial in this room and we were able to raise $5 million to create an endowment for this agency, Michael said, let me give the first $1 million. When we said we wanted to move into our new headquarters over at the old Sears building, Victor Roberts building, I will give the first $1 million. And when he said, well, what is the rest of your vision for this campus? I said, well, we need to acquire this strip plaza behind us, and we're also trying to acquire 2.5 acres from the city, which they have agreed to, and it'll be a 10-acre campus with 250,000 square feet to serve the community and 500 parking spaces. He said, well, you need to acquire that? All right, let's talk about it tonight. And he gave the first $1 million for that. So it wasn't just what he did, but it was the way that he did what he did. So he was practicing what he preached in terms of helping make St. Louis more equitable and inclusive and investing in the lives of those that need it the most. So I want to thank him. I want to thank his family for sharing him with us. And we are now at our new headquarters going to name our boardroom the Michael F. Neidorff Boardroom for the legacy and the work that he did with our agency. So now please join me in looking at some of the highlights of the agency in the past year.
that better?
I can.
Talk to me about fears and hopes.
The Urban League today announcing it will tear down several vacant buildings and homes along Page Avenue near North Kings Highway. The project is part of its 2021 Clean Sweep initiative.
Thank you so much, James. Thank you for all your work for the community all the time for years and years.
Thank you, Mike.
In St. Louis today, Governor Mike Parson announced a $1 million grant to the Urban League. The federal funds will boost the Urban League's Serving Our Streets initiative.
St. Louis's homicide rate is dramatically down this year.
We work as a team, and so I'm in the streets with my team.
Anthony Pickens Bay is the director of the Walnut Park West Cure Violence site in North St. Louis.
A new push to get people vaccinated in North St. Louis County. It's one of the areas hit hardest by COVID-19.
These urban engagement specialists are taking the vaccine message to community members and making sure they have access to information.
You're going to save a lot. You're going to get family dollars. Tell the people in Subway what's going on so they can let everybody know that comes in.
Concerning numbers, the Urban League is calling on local churches to help combat vaccine hesitancy.
If you're going to reach out to the community, it's got to be through the church.
The Urban League has hosted mass vaccination clinics at Delwood Recreation Center and Forest Park Community College.
The Urban League is partnering to hand out 1,500 doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
The Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis says they're tackling an open-air drug market in this North City neighborhood,
where drugs are bought and sold and used during the daytime, nighttime, all the time.
Thank you, Urban League. Very appreciate it.
I am so very proud of the work we have done together. I want to acknowledge Pat Washington, Richard Davis, and the team that put that video together. Please give them a big round of applause. We know that St. Louis is a city of so much promise. I have spent my whole life here, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Our city is a great city, but we can be a model city if we can work together to overcome our differences and truly harness the power in our diversity. This is our decade to shine. This is our decade to excel. We cannot waste another decade here in this community. We cannot create a region that empowers all without coming together so that we can live our best lives together. We have all the right ingredients for a rich gumbo, Mr. President and CEO. In the 60s, the city of Atlanta was experiencing racial tension and population shifts just like St. Louis is now. In 1960, the Atlanta region contained only 1.4 million people, not much larger than Birmingham. But over the next several decades, it exploded into a metropolis of 6 million people that has added 1 million people per decade per census. And it became the capital of the New South with the busiest airport in the world. And it then became known as the city that was too busy to hate. A business-oriented city moving past its racial past and into a brilliant new future. St. Louis, on the other hand, has not kept up with the national average of population growth in the same period. And we have less than half the population of Atlanta as a region. Atlanta is known for diversity and inclusion and a place where African Americans, whites, and people of all races can live together in harmony and live their best lives. And if there was ever a time for St. Louis to collectively get our act together, now is that time. We can be the Atlanta of the Midwest, and we can be better than Atlanta. If ever there was a time for our region to act as one, now is the time. If ever there was a time for all of us to truly care about each of us, now is the time. Mahatma Gandhi said the future depends on what you do today. And today, as we commit to a better future for our city and our region, I say St. Louis should be a city that is too positive to be negative. We should be a city too loving to be hateful. And St. Louis should be the city that is too united to be divided. That is what we should be known for across this entire country. So I thank each and every one of you who have worked so hard to help us be the best urban league in America, because it wouldn't happen without each and every one of you. Every company, every volunteer, every board member, every partner, every staff member, you collectively make us the #1 urban league in the United States. And we do not take that lightly. We work every single day from the moment that we got the first 5-star rating from the National Urban League in 2004 until today. Many of you who know me know that one of my favorite stories is one that I heard in high school every single day from one of the Jesuit priests at St. Louis U High. And he used to tell us that you cannot choose when you were born and you cannot choose when you die. And the only thing that represents your life in the meantime is a dash on your tombstone. And the question that you have to ask yourself is, what do you want that dash to mean? No one ever had a building, a city, a street, a park, or anything named after them for what they did for themselves. They only had that done based on what they have done for others. So I challenge all of us to make sure that we do more than we have ever done before for others to make St. Louis the best region that it can be. Thank you, and God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michael P. McMillan, and this time the P stands for phenomenal. Phenomenal. The man, as I said in the beginning, can move mountains, and he can really stir your soul, and he certainly did that tonight. But tonight isn't just about the accomplishments that Mr. McMillan has been able to do with the Urban League. Tonight isn't just about our honorees. In many ways, tonight is about you. This is indeed your night too. We celebrate you because without you, we wouldn't be who we are today. So I want to say thank you to every single donor out there, every single partner out there, volunteer and supporter for standing in the gap with the Urban League and being that bridge to the other side. A round of applause to the room once again, please. And I'm glad that you brought up the dash between our birth date and our death date. Because as I sat there, I realized the equal sign in the Urban League symbol. It stands for equality. It stands for equity. It stands for we're on the same ground, the same plateau as everyone else. But at the same time, it does have that dash in there. And that dash over 104 years has meant a great deal and has stood for very much support, very much belief, and very much that bridge to the other side. This year's annual report to the community is on your table as I speak. I want you to read it. I want you to share it. I want you to pick it up. I want you to hand it off to family, to friends, to strangers on the street, because they need to know the value of our community and the fact that our community resources come from you. It is our community taking care of our community. Despite the tremendous work that has been done over the past year, there is still very much to do. And if I know Michael P. McMillan, and I like to think that I know him fairly well, he and the team are already headed for a banner year in 2022. I invite you all to visit the Urban League's website at www.ulstl.com to learn more about how you can help and encourage your friends and family members to do the same thing. And please, please do not forget there is that envelope on the table that if you have the opportunity to give a gift tonight, please do. And make sure that our staff on hand are able to receive that from you so it doesn't get lost while you're out there. I thank you for that in advance right now. But at this time, I'm going to ramp it up just a little bit more. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let us now celebrate the stellar accomplishments of this year's amazing honorees. And before we do that, let's give the 2022 annual dinner co-chairs a nice, warm round of applause. I want you to take the left hand, put it against the right hand as we welcome them up here to the stage. Please welcome dinner co-chairs Emily Pitts, Akbare Boykin-Farr, and Kathy Osborne, along with National Urban League board member and the creator of the MLK National Memorial in Washington, D.C., Mr. Harry Johnson. The Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis's board chair, Mark Levinson, and yes, you too, Mr. Michael P. McMillan, we need you back on the stage as well. Our first presentation is for our Lifetime Achievement Award. And to do the honors, please welcome Kathy Osborne, President and CEO of the Regional Business Council. Kathy?
Well, good evening. What a joy, just a pure joy it is to be here tonight to celebrate the Urban League and honor two of our most generous and caring philanthropists. I have the privilege tonight to present the Urban League's 2022 Lifetime Achievement Award. The award is presented to individuals who have distinguished themselves through their leadership, philanthropy, and active engagement in causes that align with the mission of the Urban League and serve to improve, empower, and enrich the lives of others. Now that's a tall order. The Urban League Board of Directors has selected Jim and Elizabeth Mannon Burgess and the Burgess Family Foundation for the 2022 Lifetime Achievement Award. Let me tell you a little bit about them. It is a remarkable family. Elizabeth and Jim are two of the most caring and generous individuals in St. Louis. They not only make generous gifts, but they give of themselves. They invest in people and projects that transform individual lives with long-lasting benefits, in return, building a more equitable future. This is demonstrated in the work they have done to support the Urban League's Restoring Hope Capital campaign, which is the crux, which Mr. McMillan has really just told us, of economic development efforts along Kings Highway and north of Del Mar, as well as their support of the youth and family programs. And don't even talk to them about James Clark. They are committed to the work that James is doing in our community. Now, if you don't know them, they don't seek attention. And they often make their gifts quietly and humbly. They're thoughtful givers and truly believe in the organizations and the people. And I want to really emphasize this. When they find people they believe in, like Mr. McMillan and Michael Woods, who's out at my table, they invest in them because they trust that they will do what needs to be done in the community. So whether it's the arts, neighborhood development, caring for our neediest children, or inclusive talent development, they are there for this community. Now, I'm a little hesitant of the lifetime achievement because sometimes you give a lifetime achievement and it means, well, they've done it, now that's over. No, no, no. In some ways, Jim and Elizabeth and the Burgess Family Foundation is just starting. So I can't think of two more deserving people for this award. So please join me in joyfully welcoming Jim and Elizabeth Mannon Burgess on behalf of the Burgess Foundation to the stage to accept this award. I will be holding that and handing it to them. Mr. Milner, are you coming over for some photos here? Yeah. Let's get the crowd. Yeah. We're just getting started here. You know, Mr. McMillan, you know, when he says thank you, he really says thank you. All right. So I'm going to get in this line up here. I'll get right over here. Yeah, there we go. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Angle the picture down, they said. As if that's easy.
So what I'd like to do is ask Jim and Elizabeth to come forward and make a few remarks.
Thank you.
Rennie, you weren't kidding. This is not kind to somebody who's 5 feet tall. My comments will be short because my husband's never are. Well, I tell the truth. When we first got the call from Mike McMillan and Kathy Osborne regarding this evening, we were a bit dumbfounded. It took us a beat or two to realize what they were saying. An award from the Urban League, wow. And if you didn't know what an incredible organization the Urban League is, you certainly do by now. Jim and I don't look for recognition in the work that we do, but I'll say this accommodation has deep meaning for us. We are truly humbled as we stand before you today. The Burgess Family Foundation supports the institutions in St. Louis that make it a great place to live and work and invest and play and pray. We support institutions where equity and inclusion aren't just in the name, but they are in the heartbeat of the organizations and the people that work in those organizations. That makes investing in the Urban League obviously a key fit for us. We feel akin to the Urban League, and by receiving this award, you all have set the bar a lot higher for us. And to that I say, challenge accepted. But I'm going to challenge you all in return And some of our kids are sitting out there and they're saying right now, we're not surprised. We have a tagline at the Burgess Family Foundation that reads, enriching St. Louis and encouraging others to give. So my challenge to all of you here tonight is, how will you enrich your St. Louis? Are you a doer? Are you a donor? Or are you a door opener? Are you going to give your time, your talent, or your treasure? How will you enrich or give to your neighborhood, or to your church, to your school, or to your urban league? And I might just remind you about those envelopes on your table. Thank you.
Well, unaccustomed as I am to public speaking, I've got a long speech. No, I don't. Actually, the timer was running up here, so I've got, Michael's timer was running, so I got to make it relatively quick. I would like to, and it's hard to see with the lights, but I would like to give acknowledgement to two members of the Burgess Family Foundation Board and their wives, so Kevin Burgess and Kara, and Chris and Lindsay Manning, would you stand up, please, and say hi?
They are our children, not members of the board.
Wow. I was up here speaking as a member of the Burgess Family Foundation, not as a father, but as a, yes, I got that wrong. But anyway, just a few brief words. You know, when we set about the idea of setting up a family foundation, we did a lot of work in terms of what were we going to focus on. And we quickly came to the conclusion that we wanted to focus our giving exclusively on St. Louis. I've lived here since 1976. Elizabeth has lived here about 35 years. Kevin and Chris were born here, as were their spouses. And we just felt very strongly, first of all, we love this city. We'd love to see it be a better city. I think we all would. And we have the material, and that's hard. I want to just echo what Michael said. We have the material to be a great city. And we determined 5 years ago when we set up this foundation that we were going to do everything we could with our treasure to support those organizations that were helping make this a better place to live, work, play, and invest. And our focus, a lot of our focus has been on jobs. I think every study that's been done on what needs to be done in St. Louis starts with jobs, 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 jobs. We've got to have jobs. And to have jobs, we've got to have a workforce-ready graduates, whether they're coming out of the high schools or coming out of the training programs or coming out of the Save Our Sons program. We need people that are ready to go to work, especially in this period of low unemployment. Employers are looking for workforce-ready people to employ. And the better we look from a workforce-ready employment standpoint, and the better we look as not a segregated city, but as a city that is coming together to get its act together, the more we will attract new businesses to this town and keep the businesses that we already have. I love the Atlanta story, but frankly, the traffic there is unbearable. I don't want this city to have 6 million people. I'm sorry. I'll keep it where it is. Just make it more prosperous. You can get anywhere here in 15 minutes. Let's not change that. Let's not change that. And why in the world would you want to live in Silicon Valley? I have no idea. You can't afford a house. You can't afford a steak. And so we are in a prime position to be a truly, truly great city. And I think, and I've just got to tell this story on Michael. You know, while we were working hard, and it's hard work giving money away. People won't believe that, but I tell people it's harder giving it away than it was making it. And it's true, because you want to give the money to those organizations that are having an impact, that are responsible stewards of the funds that we give and that are making something happen positively in this community. And thank you. And when we were introduced to, we had the opportunity to go to, I call it the Sears Tower, but because I remember when the Sears Tower was the Sears Tower. It isn't anymore up in Chicago, but we were invited down to that building about a year ago, and they had only just moved into it. So we were invited down there to meet with Michael and his staff. And we had to walk up 5 stories to his conference room. And I was like, what's this all about? I mean, what's going on here? And so then we met James Clark, and we met the rest of the team, and we went down and saw the Save Our Sons program and the suits that I was moved by the suits like you couldn't believe, just having suits for these guys to go out for their interviews. And we go back up to the conference room, and I said, so Michael, what do you need? He said, we need an elevator. So there was purpose in that long walk. So anyway, we helped with the elevator. We hope to help more. This is a great organization. It's right in our wheelhouse. It's a place we want to give and keep giving. And we hope, as Elizabeth said, that you'll do the same. Thank you very much for this award. Thank you.
Thank you. So Jim and Elizabeth and our national president and CEO, as you can see from what is on display, have a proclamation from the mayor of the city of St. Louis, the county executive, and the mayor of East St. Louis, saying that this is Jim and Elizabeth Burgess Day in the city, in the county, and in East St. Louis as well, on top of their awards. And all of us know the pride and joy that we felt when we saw the Martin Luther King Memorial in Washington, D.C. open, and what a tribute it is to one of the greatest human beings that has ever been on this planet. Harry Johnson is the one who led the effort to make that a reality, and he flew in tonight to pay tribute to all 3 of our honorees and bring them gifts and tokens from the Martin Luther King Memorial as well. So congratulations again to Jim and Elizabeth. Please give them a big round of applause. It is now my honor to present our National Urban League President and CEO, Mark Morial. Mark is a dynamic leader. Soon, he will be the longest serving National Urban League president in the history of the National Urban League movement. He is the former mayor of New Orleans. He was the former head of the National Conference of Mayors. In his time at the Urban League, he has led us in 2022 to the largest budget and the most clients served by the Urban League movement in our 112-year history this year already, in terms of what is on the table for the agency, and even more as it continues to grow. He spearheaded, created, and now has led a $242 million project in Harlem that will be the new National Urban League headquarters, a 17-story building with a Target inside, the national headquarters, and the only civil rights museum of its kind in America right there in the heart of Harlem, as part of what he is doing to ensure that the Urban League legacy continues long after all of us. It is a very difficult thing to lead leaders, and he does that every single day by leading almost 100 urban leagues across this country in 36 states and the District of Columbia. When Ferguson happened, he was calling me every single day to give me advice, counsel, and make sure that the Urban League was at the forefront of not just the immediate, but the long term. Because when something like Ferguson happens, It's something that takes place that seems so immediate, and every day it's so tumultuous. But the Urban League is not just here for a sprint, we are here for the marathon. And Mark Morial is the one to lead us. Mark, please come forward. We thank you for everything that you do for all of us across this country, helping this nation be the best that it can be. And so tonight, we are presenting him with our Whitney Young Award. We're also presenting him with the I Am East St. Louis Award that is being presented based on our being founded in the city of East St. Louis based on the tragic race riots of 1917. In addition to the city, county, and East St. Louis proclamations, and everything that we can do to pay tribute to this man would never be enough, because he is someone who truly embodies the Urban League movement each and every day in his leadership and what he does to give back, help others, and help humanity. Mark Morial.
Thank you very much, Michael, for such generous remarks. And first of all, good evening, St. Louis. I want to begin tonight by acknowledging and recognizing the late Michael Neidorff. Michael McMillan talked about Michael Neidorff's generosity and support of the St. Louis Urban League. But let me share with you that Michael Neidorff was the chair of the board of the National Urban League for 4 years. And Michael Neidorff, true to what Michael McMillan has shared with us tonight, when we had this crazy, ambitious vision to build a $250 million project for our new headquarters in Harlem, it was Michael Neidorff who provided the lead gift simply by investing in a notion and a vision. There was no proposal, there was no piece of paper, there was no analysis, and there was no study. This man's continuing generosity and leadership, you watched him here in St. Louis. I watched him in a national environment in terms of what he meant to the Urban League movement, and he supported through Centene numerous Urban League affiliates all across the nation. So tonight, I want to remember him. I remember being in this very room maybe 5 years ago when the National Bar Association recognized Michael for his commitment and generosity. So we remember him tonight as a giant who took a small company and made it into a global giant, but also a man whose faith, whose personage, and his generosity was just without end. So I just want to ask you to just take 20 seconds in a moment of silence for Michael Neidorff. Thank you. Now I'm going to tell you what the P in Michael P. McMillan really stands for. It stands for positive, phenomenal, passionate, purposeful, and president. So Michael, President McMillan, let me thank you for tonight, for your leadership. I am truly in awe of what the St. Louis Urban League means to this community, how I've watched it in 15 years develop and grow in its impact and its strength. And I recall that Michael McMillan took the helm of the St. Louis Urban League just after the death of Michael Brown. I don't know how much time had elapsed, but he was relatively new on the job. And the national spotlight was cast on this community. Numerous conversations with Michael McMillan and many conversations with Michael Neidorff. And together we decided that collectively we were going to run to the front lines and run to the fire. So for the Urban League of Greater Metropolitan St. Louis, that meant going into Ferguson. And while others were running away, while others were hesitant about whether they would invest, the St. Louis Urban League put its stake down, its pilings down, and made a multi-million-dollar commitment to Ferguson, and made a multi-million-dollar commitment to one of my favorite programs, Save Our Sons. A few years ago, I had an opportunity to visit the Algoa State Penitentiary in Jefferson City. And on that visit, it was a chance to meet the men who were early participants in the Save Our Sons experiment. And that experiment was an experiment to begin working with men, primarily men, before their release from many, many years of incarceration, to assist them in developing a post-release plan of action for their lives. Once again, the St. Louis Urban League innovating, bringing together resources, a new facility, a new program, and doing it at a time when others cut and run. Michael Neidorff, this is 2014, pronounced boldly to me, what would it take to bring the Urban League Conference back to St. Louis? And this was a time when many who were watching from afar said, can we go to St. Louis? Should we go to St. Louis? We decided that we were going to run straight to the fire. And in 2017, for the second time in a 10-year period, the National Urban Leagues Conference was held here to put a spotlight on the inequities that Ferguson showed to the nation, but to also demonstrate the positive actions of correction that the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis was undertaking to address those issues. And then you've heard it repeatedly said, I am so proud that this affiliate, when everybody was shutting down in March of 2020, its volunteers, its staff under Michael's leadership, again ran to the front lines to provide food security, to provide PPEs, to assist people at a time of great anxiety and challenge and high and rising unemployment, to once again make a difference. This Urban League affiliate continues to make a difference and remains a great role model for this community. And they are first among equals in the Urban League movement. Let me just offer a few other thoughts because I think it is so important. The challenges you face in this city are not unique. They are not unlike the challenges that many, many major American cities have faced. Ladies and gentlemen, we've underinvested in our cities. In many American cities, we've allowed a north side and a south side, or a west side and a south side, or a third ward and a fifth ward and a ninth ward. We allowed through periods, long periods, of redlining, disinvestment, and yes, neglect, to create the conditions that we're now here to address. It is my hope and prayer that the wake-up call that this nation experienced with the murder of George Floyd will not be for naught. that the commitment by many will be sustained to invest in communities, to lift up and to build bridges of understanding, tolerance, and respect. That is a charge for St. Louis and Chicago and Detroit, and yes, Atlanta and Charlotte and Oklahoma City and Kansas City and New Orleans and Los Angeles. That's the charge for all of these communities, not just the central city, but the suburbs as well, and the rural areas of America as well, to try to reverse decades of neglect and disinvestment. The Urban League here in St. Louis is showing how you build a gumbo coalition, a coalition of people of varied backgrounds, to be, as my co-honoree just shared, doers, donors, and door openers. But above all, to be doers. And I am so proud at what I see here in St. Louis tonight. I want to acknowledge two Urban League trustees who are with us tonight, already acknowledged, but once again, Harry Johnson. Harry Johnson, Harry Johnson is a native of St. Louis. This is his home. Along the way, he passed through New Orleans. He ended up in Houston, and now he spends time in DC. But he is a native of this city and is the driving force behind the Martin Luther King Memorial in Washington, D.C. And then Lamel McMorris. Stand up, Lamel. Lamel is a new member of the St. Louis community as a senior executive at Edward Jones, but importantly, a trustee of the National Urban League. And in the past, our trustees, of course, have included the late Michael Neidorff, but also in the past included Andy Taylor, who was on the board that hired me to become president of the National Urban League, and the late Jim Buford, who ran this affiliate as well. This relationship between the National Urban League and the St. Louis Urban League and the St. Louis community is long and indeed strong. I'm honored today to accept this award in the name of Whitney Moore Young. Whitney Moore Young Jr., if he were with us today, would be celebrating his 101st birthday. Born in Kentucky in 1921, he tragically left us too early in 1971 at the age of 50, a transformative leader in the Urban League movement. And to the business community leaders who are in here, Whitney Young's most important role in the civil rights movement was to convince the captains of American industry in the 1960s that they had a stake in civil rights. They had a stake in the integration of America, that they had much more to gain from the social transformation that was taking place than the fears which caused people to pump the brakes. And the same is true today. Our demographics are changing. The sensibilities of young people are changing. The world we live in is changing. And as it changes, to go forward, we cannot look in the rearview mirror. We have to keep our eyes on the highway in front of it and understand all that it means. So tonight, I accept this award with humility, but I do it on behalf of the 92 Urban League affiliates across the nation. I do it on behalf of the 2.5 million people we served in 2021. I accept it on behalf of the 10,000 young professionals, the 3,000 Urban League Guilders, the leaders of the Block Club, the 2,500 Urban League affiliate and national staffers across the the country, I accept it on your behalf because you are, and they are, the Urban League. And what Michael and I simply get an opportunity to do is to be orchestra conductors, band leaders, or as Martin Luther King said, drum majors. Drum majors for equity, drum majors for peace, drum majors for building bridges, but mostly drum majors for action. So enjoy your evening. Thank you for having me. God bless you, St. Louis. Continue your work. Continue to fight. Continue to change. Thank you very much.
They're in heels too. Don't worry.
I'm glad my wife I need somebody to bring me the same. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. You travel kind of.
I'm traveling.
I don't know how you get back.
Man, UPS.
We want to say congratulations once again to our honorees. A round of applause, please. And I think that the Burgess family should probably go on the road with that comedy routine. It was outstanding. We enjoyed it. If you were moved by the things you saw tonight, with the accomplishments that you have seen in 2020, 2021, and so far in 2022, please know that there is more work to be done, and we need your help to get that work accomplished. So tonight, if you can, please make a donation in that envelope and hand it over to one of our staff members. And to learn more about the Urban League's Restoring Hope campaign, online at www.ulstl.com, or, as I said, just leave that envelope with us tonight. The question that you should leave tonight is, what will you do to help restore hope in the St. Louis community? It has been my pleasure, it has been my blessing to serve as your MC this evening. Congratulations once again to our honorees, to the Urban League team, to Michael P. McMillan, for bringing us all together in a grand style and a grand fashion. I hope you enjoyed your evening. Be safe. We'll see you next year.